Well, our next guest is firmly on the side of traditional American values. We're proud to sit down with Kevin and Sam Sorbo. They've tried to counter the left by speaking out and producing films and books specifically about the culture wars. Sam Sorbo's latest is Words for Warriors, Fighting Back Against Crazy Socialists and the Toxic Liberal Left. It's being distributed by Humanix Books, which, by the way, is a division of Newsmax Media. Good afternoon to you both. Thank you so much for joining us. Sam, I want to talk to you a little bit about your inspiration for writing this book. You said it was, quote, to set the record straight. What do you mean by that, and exactly how do we move forward?
Well, you know, we've been besieged by political correctness, which is really just fascism of words. And the problem is this: words are all we have before violence. And so if we are not allowed to speak and have a decent debate verbally, then it devolves into violence, which is actually what the left wants, which is why the left wants to shut down the debate. And one way they do that is they change the meanings of words, or they make them into weapons. And I got sick and tired of it. So I wrote a book to set the record straight, to talk about the different words, what they actually mean. For instance, fascism. Fascism is a distinctly leftist ideology. The left has convinced us that somehow people on the right can be fascist. That's not possible. If you believe in fascism, if you are a fascist, then you are a leftist. But then I put in some fun words, too. For instance, the word that follows fascism in my book is feargasm. It was coined by Ted Nugent. And it refers to people who sort of get off on the fear rather than looking for the solution.
Well, I think to that point, we all kind of have lived in this evolving narrative where you wake up one day and the words that used to be in Webster's are no longer in Webster's or have a completely different definition. Kevin, I'll come to you because, you know, you've been talking about the PC police for years. An example from that here, we got a tweet from PETA warning about, quote, speciesism. Check this out. Don't call someone a chicken, call them a coward. Don't call them a rat, they should be a snitch. Also, they have things about the sensitivity for snakes, pigs, and sloths, because apparently we need to go to animal sensitivity as well. How did we get here? And talk to us specifically as someone who has fought this culture war at the heart of it in Hollywood. How do we move forward?
Well, it's just another example of the insanity of the left. I mean, it's just crazy. They're constantly looking for something to complain about and scream to the right about and create. I mean, it seems like everything they blame the right about, they're already guilty for. But what's crazy about someone like PETA, they're worried about something as stupid as that. But I bet you the majority of them think abortion is just fine. That's okay. I mean, look at where we are today. I don't even know. It's almost laughable because it's so sad and so hypocritical and so nuts. I've just gotten to a point that I just roll my head and just moving on.
How dare they use the word coward? Isn't that anti-cow? And what are the cows going to think? And what if the cows stop producing milk because they're tired of being linked with cowardice?
What about people named Ward, for crying out loud?
Well, I mean, to that point, right? Because apparently, if you say amen, you have to say a woman. So I mean, apparently, abdomen is apparently an offense to all women writ large. But Sam, I want to come back to you because, you know, to that point, this seems to be an extension of people just unilaterally renaming things. What do you think that we need to do as people who believe in traditional American values, people who want to make sure that the America we love continues on that trajectory towards a more perfect union that our founders intended?
Well, really the most important thing is to not allow yourself to be silenced. And that's a very difficult proposition when the left is very eager to isolate.
They're cyber bullies is what they are.
Right, to isolate. But here's what's funny. They shut down President Trump, and that did very little to actually stop his momentum. So, you know, the right will win, and the left knows it, which is why they get so very nasty. But they will resort to violence, and that's enough to cow some people. Uh-oh, I said cow people. What? How dare I?
I know.
That's enough to deter some people from speaking the truth. So that's why I wrote my book. I want people to go get 3 copies of my book. I should show the right side of it. Get 3 copies, give one to your good friend, and then give one to a leftist so they can learn a little bit about the truth. Because when we lose our words, we lose the ability to speak truth. And that's a dangerous thing. Oxford redefined the word bigot, basically to say that if you prefer chicken over steak, you're a bigot.
Well, I've got, Twitter and Facebook are knocking me down constantly. They're taking about 10,000 followers a day by day right now over the last few weeks, and they're probably just trying to exterminate me. Go to CloudHub. I beg everyone, go to CloudHub. That's the app to go to right now. That
And
one's
also-
growing, and they are for people having a free speech,
Right.
no matter what that topic may be.
And go to SorboFamilyFilmStudios.com, SorboFamilyFilmStudios.com.
Yep.
And you can sign up for our newsletter because email is really the best way now to communicate because it's so much more reliable for the time being. We'll see what happens with that.
No, I think we want to encourage everyone to obviously read the book. Those words do matter. I think particularly, we tell our children all the time, use your words, use your words, use your words. How have we gotten to this point right now where people have actually tried to criminalize the words coming out of people's mouth simply because they disagree with the message that those words together actually imparts?
I just don't get why they get freedom of speech as such a one-way street. Why do they do what they're able to do and succeed with it, and yet we on the right are like, we need to stop, not
Being
fighting.
cowed,
We got to
yeah.
keep fighting and
We
keep
gotta
going
fight.
back, because this is insane of what we're doing to the country right now and doing to half the people in this country. I don't have the problem with the left having a point of view. Well, let me have mine too. That's why it's called freedom of speech.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to continue to monitor this effort. We want to make sure that people go out and buy the book. It's clearly a Herculean effort, so clearly we're in good hands with Kevin Sorbo. But Words for Warriors, fight back against crazy socialists and the toxic liberal left. Want to thank you both for joining us. God bless you. Godspeed, and we'll hear back from both of you soon.
Have a great
Thank you.
weekend. Thank you.